pressure is something that you create for yourself. It is not the situation or not the event that gives you pressure. It is more about a self-created phenomenon that happens when you say I'm under pressure. So be specific and consider elements of effort, the process of performing an action, the mental focus, and your reactions to the circumstances during the competition. Okay, so focus on what is in your control, not the outcome. So don't think about harunga to kya hoga. Think about what is in your control. If I play well, then why would you lose? Right? So focus on what you can control. And if you start to focus on the triggers for the pressure, stop and remind yourself to focus on your routine instead and what you can control. So if you're focusing more on what if I make a mistake, get your attention back to the routine instead and think about what you can control. Okay, so you can't control the outcome, so no need to worry about that, but you can control what is in your control, right? So always think about what's in your control and how can I change that as compared to changing the outcome, because that is not in our control. So think about what you can control and basically what you can kind of change for yourself. So in terms of coaching, I think there needs to be a lot of pressure training in the coaching strategies that they use, so that in the match situations they're kind of used to it. So we kind of encourage coaches to create pressure situations for their athletes so that the athletes are of course used to it, and when it comes to the coaches themselves dealing with XYZ pressure, they kind of need to follow a very similar pattern to the athletes, because it's ultimately a self-created concept, right? So when you have created an environment which is already conducive to pressure and handling pressure, the match situation won't be any different to the training situation that they have kind of replicated there. So ultimately it's about what you do in training physically helps you in the match situation. So why not do the same thing mentally when you're putting that load on yourself and you're kind of challenging yourself in the training situation so that you feel similar environments in the match situation. I think your self-confidence needs to be boosted in that level. So what you could really focus on is kind of building that kind of confident body language. You want to really focus on what you do well. Okay, so just before a match, you would literally kind of just in your head talk to yourself about what you do well and what is your strength, so that you feel more confident before a match. Secondly, you would really want to not focus on the opponent or say the mistakes that you've made in the past, because that's going to make you feel like you're going to make more mistakes. So that should be eliminated completely out of your mindset before a game. Thirdly, you should really practice this as a routine in your training, wherein you kind of visualize yourself playing or doing a particular skill or a particular action over and over again really well, so that you're kind of almost making yourself, I just have to mimic what I'm visualizing, right? So motor memory will again come into play and just help us mimic what we've visualized in our brain. So visualize, focus on confident body language, because you're almost telling yourself that I am confident even though you might not be. And third is just kind of focusing on your strengths, so that you don't even think about what you might be a little bad at. So you kind of eliminate that fear of making mistakes, that fear of losing, because you're only focusing on the positive aspects and you're kind of obviously doing other things along with that. So yeah, when it comes to permanent solution, I think it's more of an ongoing process. You need to kind of practice these skills. All of these mental skills require a lot of practice, so it's difficult to just kind of say I've achieved it lifetime. It could always come back, and it's like a slope. So you can't say I've achieved it lifetime. It's more of something that you need to practice over time. Handle the pressure well in the first place. So you need to kind of again go back and reflect back and rework on what it is that's creating that pressure, right? Because if you're still feeling that pressure, if you haven't worked through that pressure, you haven't dealt with it in the first place. So there's probably something missing that you might not have explored so far, or probably which is adding on to which you haven't accepted, for example. So you want to understand the sources of pressure really well. So a small activity that you could do is just literally list down all the sources of pressure that you're feeling, and then you can kind of compare them with all the things that is in your control, right? So if you feel like I feel really nervous when there's a big crowd watching me, so as compared to that, that's really nothing in your control. But if you say something like, I feel really nervous because if I don't warm up well, that is in your control and you can kind of change that. So when you list down the sources of pressure, you want to also at the same time understand what is in your control, and then eventually see what you can change and what you can rework. So you want to focus more on the things that is in your control as opposed to all the things that is not in your control. So if you feel like that pressure is not being handled well, then there's something that you haven't explored, for example, that you haven't kind of figured out yet. So maybe go back, rework them, and reflect back on them again. I just want to summarize everything really quickly. So we spoke about what is pressure, of course, what are the responses to pressure, how can we kind of categorize the responses to pressure. Then we spoke about the sources of pressure. Where are we gathering this pressure from? How do we handle pressure? The 3 R's that we spoke about, and the irrational beliefs. And lastly, we spoke about overcoming pressure.